A federal high court in Abuja has restrained the Central Bank of Nigeria, that's the CBN, from further releasing funds to Rivers State. Now, this particular directive actually did come recently, pending when a Lawful Appropriation Act is passed by a validly constituted House of Assembly. The recently issued order in a judgment on a suit filed by the Rivers State House of Assembly led by Martin Amaule. Now, Justice Abdul Malik held that the decision by Governor Sim Fubara to present the Rivers State 2024 Appropriation Bill to a 4-member assembly was not properly constituted and should not be allowed to stand. However, this decision is likely to spark discussions and reactions from stakeholders, as there are fears that it may have significant implications for the state's finances and the quality of governance. Now, joining me, of course, on the program to discuss this is Darlington Nwaju, is a Rivers State APC spokesperson, and we also have that's Honorable Precious Elekima, is a former governorship candidate in Rivers State. Also, we have Shogbaye Eli, a legal practitioner, who also joins the conversation. Gentlemen, thank you for your time.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Good evening. It's good to see you.
It's great to have you. Now, let me start off with you, Mr. Eli. I mean, from a legal standpoint, you're a legal practitioner. Can you just break down what exactly this judgment, is all about, and if, I mean, it falls at all, if it can be contested in any way?
Yes. Again, good evening. Thanks for having me. It can be contested. Every judgment until it gets to the Supreme Court can be contested. Here we're dealing with respect to the judge who sat over the matter, Justice Joyce Abdul Malik. People saw a red flag when she hastily had that application on Friday, and every attempt by counsel for defendants to draw attention to the judge to follow the procedure of the Federal High Court. That's the High Court rules. Civil procedure rules were rebuffed. Time allowed for counsel for defense to file responses under the rules were rebuffed, and then the judge adjourned to Wednesday yesterday, and of course she said she will give a date for judgment in due course. So for the first time in the history of our country, and I commend the judge for being that fast, my Lord was able to wrap up the judgment and deliver that judgment that came yesterday. So two things here. I will commend that speedy delivery of judgment. I wish every other judge could move that fast so we will have cases tried in court. But fundamentally, the question is, did the judgment settle the issues? My answer with respect is no. Issues. The court is directing the governor of Rivers State to represent his budgets to people who are castrated by law. And I use that word advisedly to see that House of Assembly of Rivers State. Recall that on the 11th of December, 27 lawmakers in plenary announced their defection, contrary to the provisions of Section 109(1)(g) of the Constitution. That issue, for whatever reasons, the Federal Court has been unable to handle until now. And people always hide under Section 272(3) of the Constitution to say that the State High Court have no jurisdiction. I don't agree. If you go and look again at Section 251, you see where the Federal Court has exclusive jurisdiction. If you go to 272(3), that's the last alteration, it's not stated. You see the High Court of Rivers State, High Courts rather, of states, captured in 272, or down that line. So how people think that suddenly because you capture in the last alteration, if Federal Court, you cannot come in there, suddenly people think that that cause a lost jurisdiction. I don't understand. So straight forward to the issue, the Lord probably don't have all the facts before her.
You are saying that the justice might not have had all the facts, but she held the decision by the governor, that's Sim Fubara, to present the Rivers State's 2024 appropriation bill to a 4-member, assembly, which to some pundits too, they feel that a 4-member assembly, and you make such a decision. For that reason, they said that cannot stand until a proper assembly is constituted. So are you saying that that alone is not a valid ground for such a ruling by the justice?
Let me repeat myself again so you understand. Look at Section 102 of the Constitution and read it in community with the judgment of the Supreme Court in the case of Lapierre Long versus Darie in 2007. And you will not agree with that judge that the House of Assembly as presently constituted is not the House of Assembly. Section 102 is clear about the numbers that can sit, where we have scenarios like we have in River State. Going forward, the Supreme Court have ventilated upon that section of the law to say where defections happened in Plateau State Assembly, I think 10 members defected from PDP to ACD, Action Congress of Democrats, and then the South impeached Governor Darie. The court said they can sit with those declared numbers. The only thing they cannot do is exercise a power of impeachment. So here in River State, what to have is people who voluntarily defected. Are we saying that because 27 laws are seats, the River State cannot go ahead again? We cannot sit at River State Assembly?
Even though some of these individuals who claim to have defected, we've had one of them come on this program, and he said that he never defected. That whatever just happened that day was not him defecting, but even the waving of the flag, he said, was in solidarity, in support of Mr. President, and there was no, proper documentation to show that he defected.
Therefore, there is nowhere in the Constitution that says that you must take so steps before it's deemed to be defection. On the floor of the House, they read letters. That fellow that came out to deny is one of those guys who, by now, should be facing trial for perjury, for lying on oaths. Mm-hmm. And that was deposed to on his behalf by Martin Ameule in the federal courts, setting grounds why they defected. So running back from your shadows because you see the law coming towards you does not make you a free man. So coming out to deny is in fact an act of perjury and should be punished 13 years imprisonment. That's why we are. So we don't take this country like a banana republic where people can appropriate and reprobate as they like. You defected the consequences. I hear people say you have to come to court to prove. How? Section 109 sub 1G says you shall vacate the seat. If you go further to 109 sub 2, the speaker only gives effect to that vacation by notifying INEC to fill the vacancy. All right, which of course ends the done.
Let me leave.
All right, so we're at that stage. So coming back and tell us that you did not defect is perjury, and that fellow and all of them who have said that should be in jail.
Barrister Eli, let me leave you for a moment. Let me bring in Mr. Wauju, of course, the River State APC spokesperson, to react to this. What's your take on this judgment, on this ruling?
Well, first of all, I want to commend my brother, the very learned Shoboye Eli, for doing justice to the legal angle to this issue. Now, you would recall that on the 11th of December, that very major decision was taken, defecting to the All Progressive Congress. And we had in fact sounded a note of warning that due process was not followed unless and until you respect the details of Article 9 of our party constitution, that the 2022 as amended. Now, later on, these individuals visited Mr. President, particularly the Speaker, the then Speaker, Martin Zamehule. And then further to that, the man who was acting as a caretaker committee of the APC before the court sacked him, Tony Okocha, received these individuals in an elaborate ceremony. And other high officials of the party did attend, that particular ceremony. So having done that, according to our own party constitution, you either go to your ward to register as a member of the APC, or you get a waiver from the National Working Committee of the party.
Mr. Wauju, are you there? I think we lost our connection with him there. Let me bring in Honorable Precious. Elekima, a former governorship candidate in Rivers State, into the conversation. Honorable Elekima, thank you for joining the program. Now, what is your take on this recent development before we move to the issue of what the implications of this ruling might have on the quality of governance?
Well, what has played out is that the judiciary is under blackmail because different courts, people go to swear affidavits that they have defected, and then they go to another court to say they have not defected. So which means the meaning of oath-taking an affidavit is rubbish. And they just go scot-free. They just walk about. Today, you swear affidavit, the next day you don't go. They didn't tell their constituents that, oh, we are defecting. Okay, they have defected. Now they didn't tell their constituents. They have gone to court to say, stop paying salaries to their constituents, stop operating the hospitals, stop operating everything. So the war is now beyond Fobara. The war is now for everybody in Rivers State. That because they won't pay them salaries, teachers won't go to work, hospitals won't operate, and everything. I hope, and I wish they know the magnitude of what's going on. For me, as far as I am concerned, I think this is going on because the governor is not operating the way he would operate. This matter cannot last 2 days. Give to Wike as governor here. So this thing will not last.
So how should the governor operate? Because you are saying that all of this is happening because the governor is not operating the way he should operate. So how should the governor be operating instead?
No, because if the governor is operating the way his powers are, the way the Constitution is, I don't think they can dare all these things. But I see him, my little interaction, oh, we are one family. I don't want to go this route. I don't want to go this way, you know, because if I go this way, it's bad and all that. Now they are cooking for the states.
Are you suggesting that Governor Fubara is too soft?
Oh, Jesus Christ, I am telling you that even 1 over 100 of this cannot happen as quick as governor. But now, we have observed that.
So the current governor is too soft, probably weak.
No, because that's why it's happening. That is why it is happening. So we, as leaders of the people, are going to step in. You know, it comes from Bon and Opobo. Those rulers, they used to have what they call jumbo dress, that they go to war with, and they must win the war. Fubara has to now leave the part of religion and all that, now wear the jumbo dress, so that this matter can be finished in not more than 48 hours.
So, Honorable Elekima, if I'm to get you correctly, you are saying the governor needs to be more decisive, maybe get into the jumbo outfit, which is a war mode, to get things done.
He has to wear the Bonner Macri jumbo outfit and the King Jaja outfit now, so that this matter can finish, because he's leading a people whose livelihood is right now under threat. So he has no excuse now.
Okay.
He has given respect to his master for a long time. He has now the thing is against us. It's not against him. Look, see, I'm a traditional ruler. So now my people can't earn salary. They can't go to hospital. And it is beyond what we are talking. So the governor has to come out.
All right. We need to go on a quick commercial break. We need to go on a quick commercial break. Honorable Elekima, sorry to interrupt you. We definitely will be returning on this particular conversation. Do stay with us. Many thanks for staying with us. This is still Politics HQ on News Central Television, and we, of course, are discussing the recent court ruling as regards allocation to Rivers State, where this ruling says that further allocations should be halted. I have my guest with me, Darlington Nwauju is the Rivers State APC spokesperson, and also Honorable Precious Elekima, a former governorship candidate in Rivers State, and Sogbeye Eli, a legal practitioner. Gentlemen, thank you for staying with me. Now, let me go to you. That's Mr. Nwauju. We lost you for a moment, you know, when you were trying to sort of establish a point. We'd like you to pick up from there, but I want to ask you a direct question. You are the spokesperson for the All Progressives Congress in the state. Did the 26 state House members, did they defect from the People's Democratic Party to the APC? Because on this same program, we had Honorable Lolo Isaiah Opuende affirming that he never defected. So did they defect?
Now, that was the foundation. Can you hear me? That was the foundation I was trying to lay. I said initially we had issued statements to say you cannot announce defection on the pages of newspapers or on television. Now, the members of the assembly who defected actually took the whole process or exercise a notch higher by going before a court to depose to an affidavit. And if you look through section 117 and 118 of our Criminal Code Act, it is clear on what the definition or description of perjury is and the consequences for perjury. Now, having gone to a court of law to say we are defecting for X, Y, Z reasons, we have no other option than to accept the fact that these guys indeed defected, and they were received by some national officers of our party. And so it is clear, legally speaking, that they did defect and are now members of the All Progressive Congress.
So they are, legally, from a legal standpoint, they are members of the APC. They defected.
Exactly.
Okay. Now, let's now go back to the issue on ground as regards the recent court ruling. You are speaking on it when we lost you for a moment. I'd like you to pick up on that.
Well, clearly, it is an attempt to sabotage the economy of Rivers State. Now, you would agree with me that although we practice a dysfunctional federalism, that does not give anybody the impetus to go before the court to attempt to vitiate the powers of the states. Because ordinarily, it is the states that donated the powers that the federal government is operating with. It is the states that strengthens the center. The resources that is distributed or shared monthly from through FAC is actually resources belonging to the states of the federation. And so you must be careful not to take away the independence and the authority of the various states of the federation. So the attempts to block monthly allocations to Rivers State is an attempt to begin to question the independence and authority of the various states of the federation. And I think that the 36 state governors are supposed to look at this, not beyond politics, beyond party lines, to say, look, this is something that is very serious. You are trying to encroach into the powers of the state, because actually there should be federalism. And when you are practicing through federalism, where powers should, the state should be operating independently as federating units, you have no right whatsoever to begin to ask the federal government or its agents to block resources that should accrue or should come into Rivers State.
All right, let me come back to Sogbeye. Now, That's Honorable Elekima actually did say that Governor Fubara, or suggest that Governor Fubara should sort of be more assertive. I would ask you a direct question. Does Rivers State currently have a weak governor?
Well, I wouldn't say weak in the sense of weakness. You know, the human anatomy is such that everybody has his own constitution. Some people will strike at the least provocation. Others have a very long and enduring capacity for patience and tolerance. And like the chief mentioned, if it's Wike that was governor of Rivers State, this matter will not last for 2 days. And let me buttress that point. Yes, Wike himself, current FCT minister, has said over and again, particularly when governors David Umahi of Ebonyi State, now Minister for Works, and Governor Ben Ayade of Cross River State defected, or in their own case, joined the APC, and then some of their House Assembly members followed them. Now, the truth of the matter is that it was everywhere, including backing suits in law courts, to get those guys to leave assembly. Of course, you know, the judgment that came. So it is an aberration of sorts. I imagine that man led people. I'm sure those boys defected on his advice, on his instruction, but they cannot do anything without him. Recall, I told the world all over the time, everywhere, every now and again, that it wasn't that bought funds for all of them, including the governor. So it is possible that when the governor and him broke ranks, he set up those boys as if to do his bidding. So he was one that asked him to move to the APC, but today it sounds like an APC government. I recall also that when the president met with these actors to solve the problem politically, he said there that he will not reject, because if you watch the directive, the 8-point directive, nothing was mentioned about these men returning to the party, the PDP. He said they're like his children, that when any man drives children that come to his house. In other words, next to what Darlington said there, that some national officers of the party came and joined that Kedar committee chairman that has been deposed by court. That the president himself affirmed that there is children, they came to his house, I will not drive them out. Maybe that's what is also in this matter. So, for me, I agree. The governor has to be more assertive. For God's sake, the chief executive of Rivers State. And here, you have our funds threatened, our livelihoods threatened, life will practically come to a halt. Meanwhile, those who defected are working free, and the court is trying to legitimize any illegality by saying, go and present the assembly budget to people who are defected, who the law has already provided the means of punishing them. Now, when those people come and say, go and show proof of defection, and all of us go to cite examples of some people defected and were not, they didn't vacate their seats, I laugh. So with an armed robber who robbed a bank and escaped and was not caught, therefore, would that fact not validate the fact that armed robbery is now legal? So the question is neither here nor there. The governor must, from this point onwards, assert himself as the governor of Rivers State. No matter whose ox is God. So far, so good. His approach had established a latitude of peace for everybody to come under the roof of the house and let's run the Rivers State of our dreams.
But the governor said his approach is more of from a defensive standpoint, as being, you know, offensive. So I mean, do you think that strategy still holds, you know, given the current scenario?
Going forward from now, that strategy has to be revoked. You cannot be playing defensive when people are after you. No, if you watch, in the last 1 year, I have taken a mental count of the governor's activities since he came on board. He had done a few things around the civil service where things that were not happening in 8 years that Wike had happened. Last Christmas, he paid bonus across board, 100,000 for every civil servant, no matter your grade level. He had done things to refix the agricultural sector. He's doing things in the education and health. He's working, all right? Rivers State is back to where it was, where it's headed. Now, this matter has been a distraction. So deal with this matter and move with the speed it should move. So for the sake of Rivers State, it is time to cut the lines clearly between what is a relationship between Wike and Governor Fubara to what it means to lead Rivers people. Because this judgment has come, for instance, now, if the governor had not withdrawn, if he had not withdrawn his processes that were filed before Justice James Omoto-Shop, the Federal Court, at the time, Amewula and others failed to withdraw their own, in clear disobedience to the president. If the governor who was not the plaintiff, other the governor should have waited for the plaintiff to withdraw first. But the governor, as a man of peace, with respect to the president, in difference to the program, the direction of the president, when I withdrew first, they did not withdraw.
All right.
That is the judgment that is now being used against him. So going forward, the governor has to be very assertive. You know, look, these people want to take it out. They're not voted by, it was not voted office by these people alone. The courts declared him a after the INEC had done the job. Supreme Court affirmed his victory as well. So his loyalty, his obedience, and sovereignty is to Rivers people, not to these people. And then from now onwards, going forward, he needs to dig deep, put his feet down, and run Rivers State as chief executive of Rivers State. Okay. No matter who's also God. So,
I mean, let me bring in Honorable Elekima into the conversation. Now, Honorable, let's look at the implication of this particular ruling. I know that you are trying to give a stance of how this might impact on the economic, well, I call it viability, or the payment of salaries and also access to funds and all of that. Can you give us some sort of bird's eye view into the bigger picture? What is the implication of a decision like this on you, a traditional ruler, of the state, and also, of course, a senior statesman?
Let me tell you, Mr. President has to apologize to Rivers State. Because if Mr. President called our governor and with Minister Wike, they sat down, the governor, being a gentleman, went to withdraw his processes, and Mr. Wike brandishes victory, then which means that our president and the minister is still serving in president's cabinet. So the question is that, what does that mean? Was it that they plotted, brought the governor in, and coerced him to take these steps? Because if the president is not party to what Wike is doing, he would have been, by this time, make a statement to say that this is what has gone wrong. But keep that aside. Let me tell you, we should all be good students of history. Now we are looking at Rivers State. By the time you stop the salaries, so you will stop the salaries, you will be drilling the oil. You can't stop salaries where you don't drill anything. Because we cannot allow you to take the oil, sell it, pay the judge of the Federal High Court, and you are paying everybody, and people who have the oil in the state are suffering. They will not do it. Because you cannot turn back and say, hold the people. How can you hold them when they are hungry? So you can't hold them. So what we're saying is that let 1966 to 1966 civil unrest that led to civil war give us an idea that there are things we cannot politicize. Let whoever, we are all friends to Wike, the 7 members assembly, are either our children or our younger friends, call them to order, let them go and withdraw all these their cases. But to say that by the end of the month, these people here have no money to eat, no hospitals operating, that you will sell what you have here to fund federal, I don't think it will work. Me, I'm already too old to go and do anything wrong. But those people are going to be hungry and they will not allow it to work. At that time, you don't come and say that some people are financing them. You cannot tell them that they will earn salary.
So are we looking at a situation of, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but are we looking at a situation of a bigger problem here?
Look, for sure. This is, you are just opening the tap of Wahala.
Wow.
Because what we are saying is that 27 lawmakers on their own left. 27 lawmakers went to swap affidavit. 27 lawmakers said they are not there. Are you saying that by the time the Federal High Court judge will refuse to look into any of these things, you know what it is to sweat an affidavit? That is, and then you say that you have withdrawn it or you have amended it. How do you amend it? Something you have sworn. So at what point are we saying that we have a judiciary?
Okay.
Because they are rubbishing the judiciary.
Honorable
So why did
Elekima, let me,
yes.
sorry to interrupt you, but I would like to leave you for a moment to, of course, bring in Darlington into the conversation. I mean, Darlington, a member of the APC, an opposition in the state, what is the stand of the APC on all of this? Because we know that the governor actually did say that his adherence to the intervention of Mr. President actually did empower his opponents.
Well, first off, I want to comment on some of the remarks made by my elder brother and father, Honorable Elekima, that I do not believe, and I do not want to buy into the conspiracy theory that Mr. President tried to cajole the governor into withdrawing his own matter so that the weakest camp could strike. I do not want to believe such a thing. Having said that, APC in Rivers State believes that at this point in time, we should actually allow for governance in Rivers State. Let me tell you why. If you look at the 2023 statistics released by the National Bureau of Statistics, it is very clear that whereas Lagos State had an IGR, that's internally generated revenue, of over 815 billion, I think 86 million, over 815 billion naira for 2023 alone, whereas a state as strategic as Rivers State could generate only about 195 billion, or I think 195.41 billion. So for us, having marshaled that our plan and agenda constructively, beautifully, and presented a candidate, Pastor Architect Toenko, and at the end of the day, the courts affirmed Governor Simfukura as governor, and our candidate ascended a hand of fellowship to him. We do not now believe that as a political party, we should be engaged in anything that we block or stop the wheel of progress of our state. We need the state to be developed. Rivers State is supposed to be operating an economy beyond the 800 billion mark that we currently operate.
Okay.
Seeing the fact that Lagos State is able to generate over 800 billion, which is more than the total yearly budget or annual budget of Rivers State.
All right, Darlington, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I understand that we need to go on another break. When we return, we will definitely pick up. To stay with us. Many thanks for staying with us. This is still Politics HQ on News Central Television. I still have my guest with me, who, of course, are discussing, or we are discussing, the recent court ruling as regards the stoppage or the halting of allocation, to Rivers State. Let me bring in Sogbaye into this conversation. Now, there is also the issue of history playing out here, according to some, will I call it political pundits. They say that this seems to be a replay of what happened in Lagos during the Olusegun Obasanjo administration. But for some, they also saw it as an opportunity where Lagos was able to harness and sort of boosted its own internal revenue and create an avenue where Lagos was able to create more money avenues for itself, and then position itself as a mega city. Now, my question to you is this: are we truly seeing history replay itself here? And could this be an opportunity in disguise for Rivers State?
I'll agree, and I'll also disagree with you. I'll agree in the sense that, yes, it's the same federal government versus a state government, because in Lagos, in the case of Lagos State, the state government created local government councils, and the federal government was of the view that they didn't comply with the constitutional provisions, which is to go to the National Assembly for confirmation, and therefore when the matter went up to the Supreme Court, in that case of Attorney General of Lagos State, Attorney General Federation, it was in 2004. Lord Justice Mohammed Lawal Louis was readily judgment. Justices like Kutugi and others were on the panel. Now, that was a decision where the Supreme Court said federal government cannot withhold the allegations of Lagos State on the grounds of creation of local government councils. However, that local governments so created were not going to stand because they're inadequate until the National Assembly affirms. But that's the legal angle. Why I don't agree that they're the same is because here, unlike Lagos, there's an internal insurrection, fueled and sponsored from within to destabilize the United government. So unlike Lagos scenario where it was Lagos versus the federal government led by Obasanjo as president and Bola Tinubu as governor, no internal thing was happening in Lagos that would distract the government of Governor Bola Tinubu while the matter was pending in court until it was resolved and all the money was paid back to Lagos. Here is a completely different scenario. The House of Assembly that was handpicked by the former governor, now Minister of FCT, is being used by him as a fighting tool. So we can call them more appropriately the Wike House of Assembly instead of the House of Assembly. What you have there as the remnant is not because they want to be the remnant. On the authority of the judgment, or sorry, of the order of interim injunction granted by Justice Monument Anagogo, or High Court of the River State, on the 13th of December, Edson he emerged as speaker from amongst his colleagues, and by that order of court, gave effect to 109 sub G, sorry, 109 sub 2, which is to the fact that INEC should conduct elections in the River State. From that 13th of December until now, if INEC had complied, and these 27 lawmakers think that they have respect for the constituents, and represented themselves, so not be here. So Governor Fubara would have presented the budget to the House of Assembly as people now derisively think is a committee of friends. No. So unlike the Lagos case, here we have internal insurrection that's capable of derailing the government if the governor does not sit up. It's not like Lagos State. Lagos State was the president trying to overreach himself constitutionally to muzzle the state. In that scenario, the state can come together and devise ways and means of generating more revenue and boost the revenue profile like it happened in Lagos. But here, what do we have? We have also sabotage from internally, all right? So the governor keeps watching his back at the time he should be working. And this is not got to the point where if you don't sit up while you're fighting the hawks of impeachment, you can't really think through the box to work. Don't also forget, there are also investors who come to states to invest.
I mean, talking about impeachment, I'm sorry to interrupt you. Talking about impeachment, are there chances that the governor, might be impeached?
Well, this is politics that has gone awry, and nothing can be ruled out. If 27 lawmakers defected, and today they tell you they have not defected, or they come back and say they have not gone to register in the what all sorts of jamboree is being said and as defense. What makes you think they cannot sit somewhere? If a court, for instance, let me use that court as an example more appropriately. In law, there are first of all notorious facts that the court must take judicial notice of. For instance, a public holiday on the Gregorian calendar is a public holiday. The court must take judicial notice of it, whether or not somebody police it or not.
Okay.
Now, 27 lawmakers are defected. The news is everywhere. Everybody knows in the federal court. Yet, because Justice Motoshaw gave a judgment where the governor having withdrawn it was, I think, the 11th defendant in that suit, having withdrawn his processes. I think this was the 17th defendant. And now Motoshaw gave a one-way traffic judgment that had no opposition as it were after the governor withdrew. People make reference to that. Forget that Motoshaw did not deal with the issue of defection. They forget that. But the governor that raised that issue in the counter affidavit had withdrawn. So yesterday, Justice Abdul Malik, would have addressed our mind to the fact that that notorious fact was there. So which other assembly are you asking to look at that budget again? People who are limping constitutionally, people who are violating the constitution and should be out of the house the next second. So want to legitimize the legitimacy?
Okay.
That cannot happen.
All right.
So except we are now running a banana republic, we should allow the law to stand. And don't forget that I want to say this again for the final time. The Constitution declares its supremacy in Section 1 over every authority and person in Nigeria, including the president. So those who are sworn to the Constitution must abide by the Constitution. So if you violate the Constitution, you leave. So in the case of Lagos State, there was an internal insurrection. Here there is, so that is what we must stop if we must grow our revenue internally.
All right. Let me take your final thoughts because we are pressed for time. Honorable Elekima.
Well, my final thought is that I think that all the players must be careful from Mr. President to the ministers to the governor, they must be careful, including other governors. This democracy gradually is moving into danger, and I can tell you that nobody should take the people for granted. But what is playing out is that they're taking the people for granted. The whole from the national level, they are pretending as if they're not seeing it, as if nothing is happening. And so a time will come when the people cannot be protected. Well, you can't stop them from reacting. My friend and brother has said there is an insurrection here, and the people will be watching you. You are doing what you like. A time will come when the people are tired. What I'm saying is that let nobody look for traditional rulers to say, go and hold your people, because you can't hold them because they're hungry. So the state needs peace. I commend the governor. The governor has shown the kind of maturity, but we now know that that maturity, he needs to change a little bit, because that line of defense is what is causing this problem. You should now understand that even if, I don't know who will call him to tell him withdraw processes that he will do again, he should be able to take a pinch of salt with anything anybody's telling him and work as a politician and make sure that he forgets who brought him. You should forget about that, because everybody brought somebody. Everybody in this world, one person had brought him. We are past that stage now.
So basically,
basically,
Honorable Elekima, what you are saying is that the governor should sit up to his constitutional responsibilities.
If at this stage, since he was on defense, he withdrew his processes, they now say they have victory, he should now wear his jumbo dress and attack and make sure that in 24 hours they are no more there.
All right.
They are no more, can have peace.
Okay, let me take the final thoughts of Darlington on this matter.
Well, I think that for the sake of emphasis, the states all over Nigeria, the 36 states, must do everything possible to retain their authority and independence. And also, given the fact that what is happening, like Barrister Shogbe rightly captured, is more of an internal insurrection. And so you need all the structures and instruments of state to make sure that you adequately engage and solve the issues that are on ground. Rivers people cannot cow to a few individuals, 27 individuals, who did not even inform their own people or constituents of their decisions on the floor of the assembly. And so you cannot make 27 persons and their very selfish decisions to now override the collective interest of over 6 million Rivers people.
All right. Gentlemen, I'd like to say a big thank you for your time on the program this evening. Of course, talking about Darlington, Uwa Uju is Rivers State APC spokesperson, also Honorable Precious Elekima, a former governorship candidate in Rivers State, and Shogbe Eli, a legal practitioner. Once again, gentlemen, thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir. Pleasure.
All right.
Thank you.
And this, of course, is where we drop the curtains on today's episode. In case you missed out, you can always catch up on our YouTube platform. That's News Central TV. You can also follow us across social media with the same name, News Central TV. You can follow me personally at Dakpo, at Digboyi. Across social media, that's the name there. Well, until I come your way again tomorrow, remain a responsible citizen. Good night.